Tulsi Gabbard, running for president, and some things have come from her past, and we're going to discuss it right here because we don't run from nothing right here on TBTV. Okay, guys, so as we reported on Freedom Friday last week, we reported that Tulsi Gabbard had announced that she would also be running for the nomination, the Democratic nomination for the presidency, right? So that's what we talked about, okay? And we did a Freedom Friday live stream, guys, of that. And I got to tell you guys, I think we did some great work on Friday. A lot of people called in to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and what her announcement meant, what they thought about it, their feelings about the rest of the Democratic field, and 2020 expectations. A funny thing has started to happen. Well, one, we have people now who are comparing Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris. And I think it's really early to do that. You know, it's not that, you know, we're not there yet. But I think it's also natural for people to question, because we have two women of color running for the nomination in the Democratic Party. And I think, hey, I had no problems. Look, I have no problems with people running for office. You know what I feel about Kamala Harris. I think I just made that clear. I do have more favorable opinions of Tulsi Gabbard based on what she stands for and based on the policies that she's helped implement. We talked about her as Standing Rock, fighting for the water protectors there. She not only supported them in word, she actually went to Standing Rock. We talk about her work to end regime change wars. She actually doctored, I don't know the word for it, but she sponsored legislation to end our involvement in regime change wars. So she's been doing things that I find favorable and more helpful, more left, I would say. But there have been some things that people have brought up about Tulsi Gabbard's past, things I wasn't aware of until they brought them up.
It appears hindsight can be 20/20 when it comes to presidential ambitions.
I have decided to run and will be making a formal announcement within the next week.
Now that Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard is under the scrutiny of the national campaign spotlight, her progressive credentials are taking a huge hit, even from a Democrat in her own state.
I'm going to be looking for someone who has a long record of supporting progressive goals and ideals.
It sounds like you don't think Tulsi Gabbard has done that.
Well, I wish her well, though.
In the late 1990s and early 2000s, she was an activist against same-sex marriage, working for her father's organization, which promoted controversial conversion therapy. Gabbard now says she regrets her past positions and that her views on LGBTQ issues have evolved, calling herself a defender of equal rights.
And what I've done is I've taken the opportunity, went to find some documentation about Tulsi Gabbard, what her past is actually, what she did and what she didn't do, and try to get a better understanding of it, because here we try to operate in facts, not just in feelings. Feelings have some play into it, but we have to lead with the facts, and everyone must know what the facts are. So this is an article by rollcall.com, and it states that Tulsi Gabbard regrets past anti-gay activism as she prepares for a presidential race. It starts off by telling us that Tulsi Gabbard's position on same-sex marriage and LGBT rights have shifted dramatically, from working for her father's anti-gay marriage organization in the early 2000s to joining the Congressional Progressive Caucus as a U.S. House member. Now, in a statement, Gabbard said this: "First, let me say I regret the positions I took in the past and the things I said. I'm grateful for those in the LGBTQ community who have shared their aloha with me throughout my personal journey." She goes on to also say over her past 6 years in Congress, she's been fortunate to have had the opportunity to help work toward passing legislation that ensures equal rights and protections on LGBTQ issues, listing 6 bills pertaining to gay rights, Much work remains to ensure equality and civil rights protections for LGBTQ Americans, and if elected president, I will continue to fight for equal rights for all. Okay? Since we've been here live tonight, one of the persons in my comment section sent me a link.
There's a few things I'd like to mention. First of all, I grew up in a kind of conservative household, a multi-ethnic, multi-racial, multi-faith home, diverse in our makeup and diverse in our views, and held views growing up that I no longer hold. And throughout my life and throughout my experiences, particularly in the Middle East, during those deployments where both just as an American but also as a woman, I saw firsthand the destructive effect of having governments who act as moral arbiters for their people. And that caused me to really deeply reflect and be introspective on the values and beliefs and that I had grown up with what I was experiencing there, and then coming back and eventually running for office again, and the conflict that I saw there in standing for, believing strongly in, and fighting for these ideals of freedom and liberty that we hold dear in this country means that equality, that our laws, our government must apply that respect for every single individual, for people who choose to love or marry someone, whether they be of the same gender or not. That respect and that freedom for every woman to be able to make her own choice about her body and her family and her future. So it was a process that I went through that changed my views in many ways, and in many big ways, to the views that I hold today. And for those critics, I ask them to look at my record. I've served in Congress now for 6 years and have a strong record that reflects what I've just shared.
You heard what Tulsi Gabbard had to say. This is all opinions. What's not opinions are what she's done, right? It's not, opinions are how you feel about what she said, and you think that she's sincere or you think she's insincere. But what's not opinion are actions that she has taken since she got in office. Has she, as she stated, been a part of 6 bills that helped strengthen the rights of LGBTQ people? Be a horrible thing to lie about or to fudge, because it's really easy to look up, right? So you look that up and you make a determination from that, because it's not just what someone says, it's about what someone's done, right? So hopefully that's what she's done. I could say, for me, I feel that her explanation did seem sincere, but then I'm not of the LGBTQ community. And if you are of that group, you may feel differently, right? That may be up to you how you feel about her explanation. But having a thought or having a certain set of beliefs, I think you can change your beliefs and not, hold a person perpetually accountable for their beliefs if they've changed them, and if their actions have shown that they've changed. Not just words, but actions. That's why I say it matters. It would matter to me. But you know what I find funny though, guys? I find it hilarious that the same people that are bashing Tulsi Gabbard right now, because they think that it was wrong that she was, held these beliefs about LGBTQ as far as gay marriage, conversion therapy. I think that's crazy, by the way. You think put somebody in cold water and change who they're sexually attracted to? I don't think that'll happen. But okay. But so I'm not defending her at all on that. But what I'm saying is I find it funny as hell that the same people who are bashing Tulsi Gabbard bashed me when I was pissed off with Hillary Clinton for being pro-segregation in her early adult life, and she campaigned for and supported a segregationist who was against Martin Luther King. You said I was wrong to harbor resentment about Hillary doing that. You said I was wrong to hold her accountable for the cuts in Medicare that she championed, and she went around the country supporting that BS cuts to welfare that threw people off of benefits under her husband. She was right there. She wasn't like Jackie O or one of those first ladies who laid in the background and just took care of family stuff and then kind of like had a little program. No, Hillary Clinton went on campaign trails with Bill Clinton. She was on the stumping for things like the 3-strike law, for tougher sentencing. But you said it's wrong for me to hold her accountable for that. But you have no problems holding Tulsi Gabbard accountable for her father's organization. So I'm consistent. I say hold people accountable if you feel that they haven't changed. But what have they done? What did Hillary Clinton do that could change my opinion? What did she do, physically do, that would change my opinion of her? That she wasn't still basically a racist. To you, you felt that was irrational to have a problem with the segregationist Hillary Clinton. I didn't. So I just wonder why people want it both ways. That's all. Why is it both ways? Like you want me to forgive Hillary's BS, but Tulsi Gabbard, you're like, oh, who had no power at all. She wasn't first lady. You know? Anyway. So, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to how you feel. You know, like you get the facts, but at the end of the day, if you feel that Tulsi Gabbard is a fighter for the people, then you'll feel a certain way about her past. If you do not feel that she is a fighter for the people, then you feel another way about it. And I think that's how human nature works. That's how we operate. Okay. I'm just looking and I'm seeing a lot of people do a lot of, it's like instantly, as soon as she started running, I saw all of these columns. And that's another thing. Those columns that are very critical of Tulsi Gabbard, I don't see those same columns being critical of Kamala Harris for the issues that I just brought up. They're very silent on, they're like within a day, bam, Tulsi Gabbard was everywhere. Look, back in the day, she felt this way about gay marriage. I didn't see those same columns about Kamala Harris and the sentencing in California and the using basically of stripping of people's rights and using slave labor, the equivalent of slave labor in today's terms. Definitely not slavery, but when people work for $1 or 30 cents an hour, yeah, to fight fires, yeah, I got a problem with that. Whether those people, those firefighters liked it or not, those prison firefighters, I have a problem with it. You may be fine with it, because I've had someone who served in those prison fires who said, "Tim, shut up. You know what you're talking about. We wanted to get out of our cell. We were happy to do it." I got a feeling if you died doing it, you wouldn't be happy. I'm just taking a guess. So I look for fairness, and it's only fair to hold Kamala Harris to the same level of scrutiny that you're going to hold Tulsi Gabbard to, and vice versa. But like I said, at the end of the day, it also comes down to what you innately feel about a candidate. But aren't we getting a little ahead of ourselves? We still don't know who's all that's running. I mean, we got Elizabeth Warren, you got Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Tulsi Gabbard. We got the former HUD secretary, whose name escapes me at the moment. He's running. Deval Patrick there in Boston, in Massachusetts, maybe running, right? It's going to be a crowded field on the Democratic side. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Bernie Sanders may also be throwing his hat in the ring. would basically be a bull in a china shop with all of this forecasting, right? So we need to just